Hello, everyone, and welcome to MSUFCU's Financial Education Seminar Series. We appreciate you all joining us and are excited to be here with you virtually. These presentations were created with you in mind, with the intention to give financial education on a number of relatable topics to help expand your knowledge of finances. Each event will be hosted by a member of our financial education department or one of our partners, connecting you with resources in our community. We have a number of diverse presentations planned for you all this year, and you can explore and register for them by visiting us at msufcu.org/events. Tonight's event is being recorded. To rewatch or share the presentation, you can go to youtube.com/MSUFCU and then select the MSUFCU seminar series from the playlist options. The recordings are usually available within a few weeks of the event. We will have time during the presentation to address any questions that come in, so feel free to use that Q&A function at the bottom of the Zoom screen there to submit any questions you may have. And you can send those at any time. We'll get to them if they're pertinent to the slide that we're on at that time, or we'll address them after we conclude. So I'm Therese Bacon. I'll be your facilitator this evening. If you have any technology issues, you can reach out to me in the chat, but again, put those questions into the Q&A. And then tonight we have two of our own member technical support specialists joining us to present about account and online platform support. So allow me to introduce our hosts, Liz and Yoshi. Welcome to you both, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'll pass it over to you to introduce yourselves to our audience and tell us a little bit about your position with MSUFCU, and then we can lead right into your presentation this evening.
Sounds good. Hi, I'm Yoshi. I've been with the credit union for the last 5.5 years. I started out in our e-services department before moving to member tech support. Before MSUFCU, I spent the past handful of years as a trainer at a local tech company. I'll now turn it over to Liz to tell us a bit about herself and get us started.
Thank you, Yoshi. As you heard, my name is Liz. I've been with our member technical support team for about 1.5 years. I've been at the credit union for about 14 years total prior to being in member technical support, or MTS as we like to call ourselves. I was assisting at the branch via live chat and also on the phone. So I've had a well-rounded scope of member-facing experience. So we've got a lot going on today. We've got a lot of content, and I'd like to get started here. So first, we're going to talk about items specific to MSUFCU. This will include tips on what resources are available on our public site, how to sign into and navigate within your account in our website and mobile app, and what you can do in these platforms. We'll also share some general technology tips. Yoshi will come in and he'll talk about different types of internet connections and their pros and cons, health tips for your device or devices, when is it time to obtain a newer device, and so forth. And as Therese mentioned, she'll be looking at questions that they're coming in through the presentation. We'll also have spots where we can answer questions as well. So we'll take a brief pause. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is our public site before even digging into Computerline. And the reason I want to do that is because we contain so much information on our website. A lot of times folks don't know. So I just wanted to address really quick the tab going across that has the green bar with various sections on it. And I'm listing on the side here what they all contain. So with loans, it contains info on all the loan and credit card types that we offer. With accounts, same kind of thing, all the types of accounts we offer, savings, specialty accounts like IRAs, and so forth. Services, this includes account access, account services, and branch services. Business, this is drop down for business accounts, services, and loans for business. Resources is great. We've got calculators, financial education, like where Therese is, and offers and promotions are just some of the options listed. Help Center, which I've got indicated in red, that has Contact Us, FAQs, Forms and Applications, and the Security Center. And I'm going to come back to that in a second. And rates, this lists the current rates for all of our products, including loans and certificates. So again, there is a plethora of information on our website that you can access without even needing to log in. And the reason I wanted to talk about the Help Center is because it has the Contact Us section. Contact Us lists all of the ways you can get in touch with us. I wanted to highlight send a secure message. which is a great way if you don't have an urgent need to just message us a question or a request, and then we can get back to you. You can call if it's more urgent, and our phone numbers are there, or you can visit an MSU FCU branch. Keep it old school, and our locator link is right there as well. All right, now we're going to dig into computer line. So this is your account access on msufcu.org. So you may have heard of computer line before, you may have even used it before, but did you know that allows you to do the following things and many more things? Make transfers. You can make transfers online to your loans or visas with us using funds on deposit, or you can add an external account that you hold anywhere else. You can transfer between shares on your account, such as from your savings to your checking, vice versa. You can also make transfers to other members via our member-to-member service using their mobile number or email address. You could also e-deposit a check. It's also called remote deposit. You can lock or unlock a credit card or debit card or update a card PIN. You can add a travel note. This will help to lessen the chance of your card being declined while you're traveling in the United States or abroad. With e-alerts, you can set text, email, or push alerts for your account and cards, which is great to just keep track of making sure if there's nothing fraudulent perhaps happening on your account. It's a great way to use it. You can participate in new products and services that we're testing out through the lab. You can add additional products such as certificates or apply for a loan or a checking account. You can also use our pay bills portal if you have a checking account with us, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. And again, there's much more. So we'll get to the sign in. So you click that sign in button on our public website, which is indicated in red. And then you would enter your username and password. So the screen on the left is where indicating for the username. So you type in your username or your base account number if you don't have a username currently. And then you would click continue. And then you would be presented the next screen on the right, which is password. You type in your password that you've created, or if you need a new password, a temporary password that's issued to you by an MSUFCU employee. Please note that on both of these, they both have options for the forgot username and forgot password, respectively. If you click one of those, you'll be asked for some identifying detail, and then it will either help you get your username, retrieve it for you, or guide you to resetting your password. So once you're signed in, it's the landing page. It's also called the account summary screen. When you're signed in, it'll look a little bit like this. I wanted to talk really quick about the part that I've indicated in red. It has a lot of great information inside of it. So with the account summary, you can click that at any time and you'll come back to your landing page. My profile, that's where you would update your contact information and your security preferences, like changing your username, changing your password, updating your code frequency, anything like that. My e-statements, that is where account statements and IRS documents are stored, as they're generated. My e-alerts, that's what I mentioned earlier, where you can enroll your mobile phone number or email address for alerts on your account. You could even enroll both if you like. The lab, which is our newest addition to Computer Line. This is services and products that are in a testing pilot phase, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Member referral. If you click on member referral, it'll give you your unique number letter string. It's a code to give to others when they join MSUFCU. And for more information, there's a link right there. It's under special offers on our public site. And then my credit score. This is where you can opt in to receive a new no impact score on a quarterly basis. Whoops, sorry about that. So as I mentioned, I want to come out and tell you a little bit more about the lab because it's one of our newer items. So this is where you can help us try out our new products and services to make sure they're working. What's the feedback? What's the response? All of that. So our two current pilots are Card Updater. This is where you can update your card information with various subscriptions such as Netflix all in one place. This is great if your credit or debit card number has had to be changed due to loss or theft. Our other one is called Cashback Plus. It's a great product. You can purchase gift cards from a wide variety of merchants, and this earns cash back that you can then deposit back into your MSUFCU account, or you can use to purchase more cards. I use an embarrassing amount. We're still in computer line. Wanted to talk really quick about the toolbar at the top. If you click Overview, this brings you back to the account summary. If you click Messages, this is where you can send and receive secure messages with MSUFCU. Move money, that's where transferring funds happens. Apply for a loan. As you might expect, that means that's where you can apply for personal, vehicle, home loans, and credit cards. E-deposit, this is where you deposit a check by uploading the scans and photos of the front and back of your check. Manage has multiple features stored inside. I'll show that list shortly. And chat with Fran. You can start a chat with our assistant Fran and then switch to a live agent if you need. So I told you a little bit about Move Money, but I really wanted to share because it's got all sorts of features inside of it. Transfer Money. This is where you can set up transfers to your shares or loans or Visa held at MSUFCU. Member to member. Initiate transfers to other MSUFCU members using their mobile number or email address. Pay bills. Set up payments and transfers to external billers, non-MSUFCU members, or external accounts. And I'll go into depth on pay bills in just a little bit. Manage preferences. You can add an external account to pay your MSUFCU loans or visas, enroll to be able to receive M2M transfers, and add new M2M contacts. That's member to member. Payment calendar, as you can see there on the left side, that has any dates with a scheduled payment or transfer to an MSUFCU share loan or visa. It'll have a teeny dot icon right on the date. And the upcoming transfers right there on the right-hand side correspond to the scheduled upcoming transfers on the calendar. So it's nice that it gives you a calendar view as well as a list view. And I told you I was going to come back to manage because there's so much inside this button. Some of the highlights of manage are you can report lost or stolen cards. You can request a stop payment on a check. You can download transaction history. You can download Quicken or QuickBooks files. You can add a certificate or apply for a checking account. Statement and notification settings. You can switch to paper or electronic, and travel plans, where you can add a travel note for your cards. So that is just a really brief overview of the public website and computer line. And basically what it is, just there's so much contained on the website and there's so much inside computer line. We advise you to just dig through and you can find all sorts of great features. Does anybody have any questions at this time?
Yeah, so I know that the login screen that was just recently updated. What can you give me some of that, like why that was changed or why it's split up into two screens now?
Certainly, yes. So that rolled out in January. It used to be just one sign-in block, and now there are two screens. And when a username and password fields, when they're on the same page, that can open the door to fraudsters who will try to do what is called credential stuffing. That is, they'll try various username and password combinations in a rapid succession to see if any of them are correct in order to try to gain access. This eliminates that possibility.
Okay, great.
More secure for an account. Yep.
Okay, good. That's what I like to hear. I like my account to be secure, so
Absolutely.
that's good. But I know it always throws people off when there's any little change, but we can see that this one is for the best. So yes, thank you.
It truly is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. All right, thanks for answering that.
Yeah. Was there any other questions coming from the field?
Let's see here. Oh, any guidance on how to pay a first mortgage
Absolutely.
on your
Okay.
account?
Because first mortgages, they look like they're on your account, just like everything else when you sign in, but they are technically housed in a separate system. So depending on where you're paying from, like external account, internal account, it won't be the same process as the other loan and visa types. We have a great FAQ on our website that addresses all of the different ways based on what your situation is. Just type mortgage payment in the magnifying glass field and it'll come up with a great FAQ.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anything else?
Nope, I think we can move on for now.
Okay, sounds good. So now we're going to talk about the mobile app. So you may be wondering, what can I do on the mobile app? Well, pretty much everything you can do on Computer Line. So what's the difference between the mobile app and Computer Line then? So there are a few. The mobile app is more streamlined for e-deposit because the photos, they're taken by the smartphone camera right as you're initiating the deposit. Another difference is the viewability of the app is configured to fit smaller devices such as phones, tablets, and iPads. And with the mobile app, biometrics, which is your fingerprint, Face ID, they work with the mobile app. And you may wonder, how do I get the app? What you do is you search MSUFCU Mobile in your app store if you're using an Apple product, or Play Store if you're using Android. And then you may wonder, well, how do I log into the app? Well, you would log in using the same username and password that you would on Computer Line. And we'll get to this in just a moment. So the mobile app, we're going to do a little sign in. So at this time, mobile app still has username and password on the front screen together. You put them in, and it's the same kind of process where if you don't have a username, you type in your base account number. And if you don't have a created password, you would need to get a temp password from us. And as you can see, there is forgot username and forgot password on that page, and they behave the same as Computer Line. They'll ask you some identifying information, and then it'll present you with how to obtain your username or reset your password. Well, once you've clicked sign in, you will be presented with the account summary, which could look a little bit like this. Depending on how many shares or loans you have with us, you may need to scroll down. As you can see, the savings builder for this person is kind of at the bottom because it's a little bit lower down, but as the user scrolls, it'll come up. I also wanted to highlight right there, I've got it indicated in red, the menu, the 3 horizontal lines. Because if you click on that, you will be presented with this menu, and I had to provide it in 2 screens because it's too long for just not scrolling at all. So as you can see, it's got a whole lot of details that pretty much behave just the same as Computer Line and kind of correspond there as well. I wanted to indicate contact us in red because I'd like to highlight that area. So as you can see, it's right here. It's indicated. So the contact us section has things like chat with Fran, call us, do a video chat, which is really cool because you can do that from your phone. But I just wanted to highlight send a message, because you can click send a message and that'll let you send a secure message, any messages sent from MSUFCU, as well as send one to us. I also wanted to highlight e-deposit in the mobile app. This is accessed by clicking the e-deposit button at the bottom, which I've indicated in a red square, but I also made it larger over here. Once you click that e-deposit button, you would be brought to this screen in the middle. So as mentioned earlier, e-deposit in the mobile app is a streamlined experience. It uses your smartphone camera to take the check photos right as you're doing the e-deposit. As you can see the image all the way to the right, you would choose the share that you want the deposit to go into, type the amount of the check, and then check mark the box once you have fulfilled those 2 requirements that it lists there. Once you have done these actions, the take photo button will become clickable, and then you'll be walked through taking a photo of the front of the check and then the back of the check. So those are just a few of the features we wanted to highlight from the mobile app. Does anybody have any questions about the mobile app before we take a look at pay bills?
Yeah, so is there any way to look up like the app version you're using to make sure you're like on the most updated one? Or do you have to log in for that, or how does that work?
Oh, you don't have to log in. On the sign-in screen, you'll also have that 3-line menu in the upper left. You just click on that and you click on app settings and it'll show you your current app version.
Okay, gotcha.
Mhm.
And then can I set up an external account in the app to pay on my loans that I have with MSU FCU? Like
Yes,
if I
you
have a bank
can.
account somewhere else. Okay.
Yes, you can. You just go to move money, then manage preferences, pick external transfers accounts, and then get started.
Okay, great. That's easy enough.
Yeah.
Nice
Oh,
that we
yeah,
can connect those external accounts so easily too. So cool.
absolutely.
All right.
All right.
Those are
Any
the
other
only questions.
questions?
Nope, that's all we have right
Okay.
now. So yeah, we can keep it
Okay.
moving.
All right. All right. Pay bills. It is more than just bill. Oh, goodness. It is more than just bill payment. I get so excited about it. I can't even say the words. So if you have a checking account with us, Pay Bills is available for you to use within Computerline and in the mobile app. Like I said, it's more than just bill payment. You can make a transfer, which is where you can set up your external account to make transfers to and from it using your MSUFCU checking. Yeah, you can pay a person, transfer funds to individuals who may not be MSUFCU members using their email address or mobile phone. Or yes, pay bills, set up your external loans and credit cards, utilities, and other vendors, homeowners associations, things like that. If you've never accessed pay bills before, log in through our website, msufcu.org, click the Move Money button, then click Pay Bills to agree to the terms and conditions to get started. So now we're just going to roll through some screenshots here of all the different parts of pay bills. So to access pay bills, you click Move Money and then Pay Bills. It looks a little bit different in the website and the app, so I indicated both. As you can see here, you have your arrow, you go up here and you click Pay Bills. Again, first time access, please use the website. So once you've accessed pay bills, it'll look essentially the same whether you're in Computerline or the mobile app. You'll see 4 tabs: Activity, Pay Bills, Pay a Person, and Make a Transfer. The Pay Bills tab within Pay Bills, and I know that is kind of fun that it says Pay Bills and then Pay Bills. This is where your existing billers are shown and where you can add new billers. Billers are normally items like utility companies, loans or credit cards at other financial institutions, condo association fees, or similar. Some billers can be sent their payments electronically, while some would need to be sent via check. Either way, Pay Bills process them for you once you've scheduled the payment, so it's very convenient. As you can see, this user year has Consumers Energy and Dart Bank Loan. Pay Bills Scheduled Activity. So this will show anything that you have scheduled in Pay Bills that has not processed yet. So you click on Activity and then you click on Scheduled as indicated here in red. As an example, this member has scheduled a Pay a Person transfer to a person named Liz. I don't know who that could possibly be. So also within Activity, there's History. This will show the most recent transfers or payments that were sent from the Pay Bills service. Please note the scroll bar on the right, which will appear if you have more items than what can be shown on screen at one time. Pay Bills, Pay a Person. This is where you can add individuals using their mobile number or email address, which is great if you're not sure if the person is an MSUFCU member, since M2M can be used in that situation. So when you add the person, you will also need to input a security question and answer. This would need to be something that you and your receiver would need to agree upon. It could be just something like, what's my favorite food? And the answer is something like pizza. Once the receiver receives the text or email, they click the link in that notification. It takes them to a portal where they would input the receiving account information as well as the answer to the secret question. This feature is great for members who want to pay others without either side needing to provide their account information directly to the other person, such as a wire transfer, where that kind of information would need to be disclosed. So it's really great to kind of mask that. Pay Bills, Make a Transfer. This is where you can add external accounts that you are listed on to make transfers back and forth with MSUFCU. Please note that generally only external checkings and savings accounts can be added. If it's something like a retirement account, brokerage, something more specialized like that, those types of accounts typically have deposit or withdrawal restrictions. And thus those companies usually want the account holder to initiate any transactions from their side. But let's just say you have a Chase checking account that you want to link up to your MSUFCU account. you would click make a transfer and then click select an account and then click add external account as indicated in red. So you can see here, we got the red square on make a transfer, click select an account and then click add external account. After you click add external account, the system will want to send a code to either the email or phone number on file to make sure that this linking request is legitimate. Once you select the contact information, then click send code. And then you should get this screen basically here. So it should arrive within 5 minutes, but it's usually within 30 seconds or so. And once you've received it, click verify code. I just realized that it was slightly behind. My apologies. It would look like this and you would put in your code and then this box becomes clickable. And then you click verify code. There you go. There you go. So once you've verified that code and it's proper and it's correct, you'll be presented with a list of financial institutions. Choose your external financial institution and then follow the steps shown to link your account. Typically, this can be done by entering your login credentials from the other financial institution. If it ends up needing to be a manual connection, the system will prompt you to enter your external account and routing information, but it will tell you if it needs to be that way. So this is an overview of what the public site, computer line, mobile app, and pay bills can offer you. If you don't have a username and password already set up for your account, or you're not sure of what they are, you can contact MSUFCU, please. We'd love to assist you. One of the following ways. You can give us a call, 517-333-2424. You can click chat with Fran, link on public website, request an agent. You can video chat with us. You can visit any of our branch offices. Another special note is some features are unavailable between midnight and 5 a.m. Eastern time. This is due to nightly system maintenance. So we recommend accessing your account outside of this time frame for the most user-friendly experience. And I do want you to check out msufcu.org/contact for more information about our contact methods and hours. So before I hand it over to Yoshi to talk about general technology tips and information, does anyone have any questions about what we've covered so far?
Yeah, there was a couple that came through. So r- for the pay a person within bill pay, does that money just once I like initiate that transfer out, is that just gonna like sit somewhere in cyberspace? What if the person like never follows up and accepts it? Like what happens to it then?
So it'll go into one of our ledgers, and once the person has to accept it within 7 days, 7 calendar days. If it
Oh,
doesn't,
okay.
it comes back to you.
Okay, gotcha. So the
And
money is taken out of my account right when I initiate
yes,
it, but
yes,
then, okay, if they don't accept it or finish their part of it to make the
correct.
transfer, then it's just going to come back to me within 7 days. Okay, cool. That's
Yep.
that's how M2M works too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
and yeah, it works basically like that too. The
Okay.
big difference between pay a person and member to member is literally, your receiver is an MSUFCU member. Pay a
Right.
person's like, if you're not sure
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
maybe you don't want to try to ask that question or whatever, so
Mm-hmm.
you can
Yeah.
use pay a person. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it is weird to like ask somebody for all their banking information.
Oh
That seems
yeah,
so personal. So this is a
yeah,
nice option, to
yep.
still make an electronic transfer because none of us have paper checks anymore. So yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty rare. Pretty
Yeah,
rare.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then there's one other question. Do I have to continue using pay bills on the website once I've accepted those terms and conditions like you talked about, or is it all going to show up on the mobile app the same way at that point?
Excellent question. You do not have to stay in the website. Once you've accepted the terms and conditions, you can switch over to the mobile app and you should be able to access pay bills and use it fluidly from there.
Okay, cool. Yes, I am a huge user of pay bills. I love it. It's such a great feature. And yeah,
I agree.
I don't have to have any paper checks and I don't have to worry about giving putting my account number on all these other websites of, companies I have to
Absolutely.
pay. So that makes me feel very secure. So
It definitely offers a more streamlined
yeah,
experience.
for sure.
Absolutely.
All
Are
right, cool.
there
Yeah,
anything
I think
else?
we can move on.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to hand it over to Yoshi. He's going to start sharing and he's going to talk about general tech tips.
Yeah. At this point, you should hopefully see my screen. Let me know if that is the case.
Yep, looks
I
all
can
good.
see it.
All right, marvelous. Well, thank you, Liz. I'm excited to dig into the technical side of things and go over some practical steps that you can do to make the most out of your online experience. On this slide, we give a brief overview of some of the topics we're going to cover. So we'll start by discussing the different types of browsers that members can use to access our website. And then we're going to look at different types of internet connections and their various pros and cons. Next, we're going to look at what internet service providers are and what an IP address is. After that, we're going to take a moment to look at why updating your device is actually a good thing and how to keep your device healthy. And then we're going to wrap up with looking at device security, security best practices, and password managers. So let's start by diving into browsers. It's likely that most of you have a preferred web browser, myself included. At MSUFCU, we offer official support using one of the 4 browsers listed here, so Chrome, Edge, Firefox, or Safari. When using an unsupported browser, besides one of these 4, you might sometimes run into issues loading certain aspects of our website, or general login issues. MSUFCU is not able to guarantee that we'll be able to support users who are using an unsupported browser. But if you do run into issues using your browser, whatever it may be, we would first advise making sure you're using one of the 4 supported browsers listed here. Make sure that browser is up to date. So this looks a little different for each browser, but for Chrome, Firefox, or Edge, typically you find 3 lines or 3 dots in the upper right. You click that, go down to settings, and then there's a section that says about browser name, whatever that may be. You would then select to check for updates. It'll check automatically, and if there are any, you can click to apply them. To check for Safari updates, you're going to go to System Preferences, then Software Updates, and if available, you'll press Update Now. Another step you could take if you're having browser issues is to review the installed browser extensions and maybe try turning off any browser extensions or add-ons currently enabled in the browser. Next, let's look at what is needed to use a web browser. Let's talk about internet connections. So there are 2 types of network connections that a person can use: cellular data and Wi-Fi. Cellular data, which we often just abridge to cell data, is a type of internet connection that allows devices, usually cell phones, to connect to the internet without a wire or a Wi-Fi connection. A device using cell data uses cell towers to create an internet connection. Okay, but let's chat about Wi-Fi. Most of us have a Wi-Fi connection in our house, and we rely on this for seamless connection of our various devices. Let's dive a bit deeper into what Wi-Fi is and how it works. Wi-Fi uses radio waves to connect to the internet without needing to run cables. Wi-Fi connections are established using a router, which is connected to your internet service provider. Wi-Fi can also have different connection speeds and can offer a variety of benefits based on the device location in relation to the router creating the Wi-Fi connection. Continuing our look at different types of internet connections, let's talk about VPNs. VPN, which stands for Virtual Private Network, adds a layer of security to existing Wi-Fi or cell data connections by encrypting those connections. A VPN will also hide the user's home IP address, instead using an IP address that comes from another location. So what is the point of a VPN? Why are these becoming increasingly popular? VPNs allow users to hide their browsing activity, identity, and location, allowing for greater privacy and autonomy than standard Wi-Fi or data connections. You can get VPNs from either a mobile app on your phone, or you can even run this as software on your computer. And we did include here a list of some of the more popular VPNs that are out there. Those are just a few examples of VPN services, but ultimately, it's up to you as a user to determine if you need a VPN and select one that may best fit your needs. So by now we've covered the different types of internet connections. Next, let's take a look at the pros and the cons of each connection. Cell data works really well and it's widely available and can be used when Wi-Fi or a wired connection is not available. Cell data is also widely seen as a more secure connection compared to Wi-Fi, as the signal between the cell tower and the device is encrypted. Cell data has a few drawbacks, though. It has, in some cases, can be significantly slower than Wi-Fi or wired connections. Another drawback is that cell data can be expensive, especially without an unlimited data plan, and the costs can really add up the more the network is used. Wi-Fi is a really good service, and most of us have it in our homes and workplaces. Wi-Fi also has pros and cons. The huge benefit of Wi-Fi is that it's generally cheaper than cell data plans mentioned earlier, but it could become more expensive depending on the internet speed provided by your service provider. Since I do work remotely, I spend I spend more money on faster Wi-Fi, faster internet than my parents do, since they don't need to use it for things like work meetings, streaming content, that kind of thing. Another benefit of Wi-Fi is that it's wireless internet, but at wired speeds, so it's much, much faster. One drawback of Wi-Fi, though, is it does have limited range. I know in this house that I'm in now, when I'm in a particular room upstairs, our Wi-Fi signal gets kind of weak and it isn't as fast or reliable as if I were downstairs. So next, let's look at some pros and cons of VPNs. VPNs are great for added browsing and security. They secure your browsing data by encrypting your current Wi-Fi or cell data. VPNs also mask your IP address, which helps protect your browsing traffic and can help block site trackers from collecting search information. But like everything else, there are a few downsides to VPNs. They can potentially slow down your internet. They can slow it down because they're encrypting that connection, so it takes some of the speed away. Depending on the IP address that VPN is giving you, they can also cause difficulty accessing websites and mobile apps. Another thing to note is that free or cheap VPNs can be slow, insecure, and might even collect your data while in use. So those are the pros and cons of some of these different connection types. So by now I've mentioned internet service providers a few times and I've mentioned IP addresses, but I think it'd be helpful to really understand what those are and define them. So an internet service provider, we'll start with that. Internet service provider is often abbreviated as just ISP. That's a company that provides internet for residential and business customers. Some common ISPs you've probably seen around are things like Comcast, Xfinity, Spectrum, AT&T, T-Mobile. There's many, many more. So that's what an ISP is. Next, let's talk about these things that they give you, an IP address. An IP address, or Internet Protocol address, is a unique string of numbers that identifies a device connected to the internet or local network. Wi-Fi connections and cell data connections have separate, different IP addresses, and these are different connections from different service providers. So let me give you an example. A cell data connection through Verizon has a different IP address than your Wi-Fi through Xfinity. So what does this mean for us here? And how does this relate to logging into services and accounts? Well, most banking sites, including MSUFCU, have login security that identifies your IP address and checks it against other IP addresses you've logged in with to verify if it is indeed you. If that IP matches or it's similar enough, you can usually log in without additional security prompts. But if an IP address is drastically different than your prior connections, you might be prompted with additional security verification, something like two-factor authentication or CAPTCHA. We'll talk about those more in just a little bit. So next, let's go over why it's important to apply software device updates. Why should we update our devices? Well, regular device updates helps protect against security threats like data breaches, hacks, identity theft. Updates can also improve device performance by helping fix bugs, adding new features, and even enhancing existing features. Updates are also beneficial in that they can help your device stay up to date with the latest software and applications. A downside to avoiding software updates is that your device might become vulnerable to security threats and bugs. You might notice your device becomes slower if you haven't performed recent updates. Typically, a device will only offer so many years of updates, after which the manufacturer stops releasing them and the device stops seeing those updates. If this is the case, generally it's recommended to consider getting a newer device that is receiving these updates. To check what compatible software is needed for our systems, you can visit our website and we have a specific page called Supported Systems. In the next few screens, we're going to show step-by-step instructions on how to go about updating our computers and mobile devices. So we'll start by taking a moment on how to review that Windows is up to date. So for Windows, you would click by clicking the Start icon in the lower left corner of the screen, then pick Settings. Next, you would click Windows Update, which may also just be labeled as Update or Security, and then check for updates. If a computer finds any updates available, you would then click to download and install those updates. And these updates might prompt the computer to restart at the end of the installation. Next, let's look at how to update your Apple products. To update an iPhone or an iPad, you would navigate to your Settings app, which looks like an icon that has some gears on it. Once in that Settings app, you would then click on General and then Software Update. Once on this screen, the device will automatically check for any updates, and if it finds any, you would then tap to confirm that installation. On a Mac, this is a little different. You would click the Apple icon in the upper left corner, then click System Settings. After that, you would click General, which appears on the left side as a gear, and then click Software Update. Just like on their mobile devices like iPads and iPhones, the screen is likely going to check for your update, and if you have any available, it'll have you tap to install it. Just note, for both of these device types, after you install the update, you're likely going to have to restart that device to apply it and finish that update. One other thing to note is that you can also enable automatic updates on your software update screen. So turning on automatic updates would allow the device to check for and apply updates as they become available. Makes it so you don't even really have to think about it. Next, let's look at another popular mobile device operating system, Android. To update most Android devices, you would locate your Settings app on the phone. Likely it's going to look like a gear. You would scroll down to Software Update. This might also just be labeled as About Phone or System, depending on your device. And then you would tap Check for Updates. The device will automatically check for any available updates, and then, like the other devices, if it finds any, you would then tap to confirm the installation. Just like the other devices, it's likely that it will ask you to restart that device to finish that update. And just like the Apple products mentioned before, you can also turn on automatic updates for an Android device. This is done by going to the automatic updates section on the Check for Updates page. So by now, we've looked at how updating your device can help keep it secure and running well, but what else can we do? Let's look at other ways we can maintain device health. One simple but very effective way to maintain device health is to periodically restart your phone. This helps by freeing up storage space on the phone that's taken up by temporary files and cached content used by things like the operating system and the various apps on the phone. When storage starts to get full, that device can slow down. Another benefit of restarting your device is that it can help eliminate issues that occur when remnants of apps are incompatible or improperly removed. This usually happens after installation or uninstallation of an app. This can look like an app not opening or a portion of the app not behaving as it should. All of that to say, periodically restarting your device can help keep it running smoothly and as quickly as possible. So that was a look at tips you can take to keep your device running its best. Next, we're going to pivot a bit. We're going to take a closer look at some security best practices, starting with CAPTCHA and two-factor authentication, which is often referred to as 2FA. CAPTCHA is something you've probably run into on a website before. It's those prompts that make you pick the bikes or the crosswalks, to prove that you're not a robot, that you're actually human. CAPTCHA checks like that are often used on a lot of banking or secure login websites with the goal of identifying that you're a human versus a robot. This type of security helps login sessions remain secure and safe by presenting a challenge that users can complete, but that bots cannot. These challenges are quick and easy, and it can often look like just clicking a picture of the bikes, simply clicking a box that says, yes, I am human, or even completing a text field. Two-factor authentication is another layer of added security for account logins. Two-factor authentication provides the user with an additional form of authentication besides username and password. So this often looks like where you're asked to enter a code sent to the user through email, text, or phone call. Two-factor adds another layer of security in the event the account username or password are compromised, ensuring that unauthorized access is prevented without that two-factor code. MSUFCU uses CAPTCHA in some cases, as well as two-factor for added login security. Next, we're going to take a quick look at 3 other methods of added security you may encounter. So let's start with biometric logins. Biometric logins are a form of security that verifies that the user's identity through biometric traits such as fingerprints, retina, facial features. This is something common usually when unlocking your mobile phone or accessing saved login information on that device. We see this with Apple devices, iPhones using things like Touch ID or Face ID, MacBooks and iMacs using Touch ID. Most Android devices feature fingerprint readers, and that allows you to unlock the device or access saved passwords. But biometric logins are, most importantly, completely optional. Some people prefer to take the more standard approach to access their device, so they use a device passcode. Using a device passcode is a great way to help layer your security in such a way that it helps keep your device secure if it's lost or stolen. So it's strongly recommended to keep your device secure using a longer, more complex code or password. This means avoiding patterns or numbers or things related to your personal information like birthdays or addresses. And it's always important to periodically update your passwords or passcodes. Updating these periodically allows you to add greater security to your account in the case it gets compromised. It's also recommended to avoid using the same password for multiple sites or services. Password managers are another way to help manage your login security. Password managers are software programs or apps that store usernames and passwords in a secure digital vault. So most password managers will only need one master password to access other saved passwords. So what are the benefits to a password manager? Well, one benefit is that most password managers encrypt saved passwords, making it very difficult to hack or get stored passwords. It's also easier to remember passwords when they're saved for you in an app or software. However, there are some drawbacks to using a password manager as well, including if the password manager is hacked, that may open the door for the hacker to gain access to all saved passwords within that password manager. This is why if you do use a password manager, it's a good practice to enable two-factor authentication for that password manager and use a complex password. Additionally, some password managers may not work on some apps or websites, relying instead on the user to remember and manually enter their username and password. So I realized that was a lot to take in. We're going to pause for a moment here and I'll open it up for questions you might have.
Yeah, so we had a question come in about VPN. So someone said
Okay.
they have issues connecting to the mobile app when they're using their VPN on that device. So can you explain a little more about why that happens with the VPN?
Yeah, gladly. So it's not actually the VPN itself that is the issue, but rather it's the IP address that VPN is giving the end user. So whatever IP address it's assigning to that device, our mobile app especially has very strict procedures on access, and so we get a lot of fraudulent bot attacks on our network throughout the day. We block them, but the VPN IP addresses sometimes do not play nice with the security we have for the mobile app. It's just whatever IP address that VPN is providing at the time, it doesn't meet our security best practices, so we don't let that connection through. But one thing we can recommend is if you do have a VPN running on your device and you're having a hard time accessing the account, try pausing it, try turning it off. A lot of times that lets you connect right in.
Okay, good to know.
Mhm.
And then another question, sometimes I don't receive my text verification code. What could be causing that to happen?
That's a good question. This can happen for a few different reasons, but if you sometimes receive it, it could just be a delay with the mobile carrier you use. So
Mm.
T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, whoever. If you're receiving codes easily, but now you're not at all, it's possible that that short code that we send our texts from got blocked on your phone. So
Mm.
we send all our short codes from 678-328. In the event you're not getting any texts from that number, might want to check your messages and just make sure you're not blocking that.
Ah, that's good to know. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
accidentally blocked, like on my iPhone where I'm deleting and it says like delete and block
Oh yeah.
on some of those like robo texts, but so yeah, I can see how that can happen. So
I
that is
have
really good to know.
I have absolutely blocked our short code on accident myself. So
Right.
we're not immune to
Yep.
that.
So it happens.
Oh yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah, that's all the questions we have on that so far. So you
Okay.
can go ahead.
So what are the key takeaways from today? Liz, what would you want the viewers to remember?
Yes, absolutely. We gave a lot of content today as a brief overview, but from my section, I want everybody to remember that Computerline and the mobile app both contain lots of great features that allow you to manage most aspects of your account at your convenience. I also want you to remember that pay bills, even though it is called that, is lots more than just being able to pay bills. And then the third thing is always, always, always contact MSUFCU if you need help getting logged into your account or with utilizing any of our services. And Yoshi, what do you want people to take away?
Well, thanks, Liz. I would like our viewers to remember that it's important to keep your devices up to date to have the best digital experience. Typically, a lot of devices become unsupported by their manufacturer after just a few years, and this means that they're also not within the scope of MSUFCU being able to officially support them either. Restarting your device is a simple step, but it has a huge impact on keeping your device running smoothly. And we will always advise utilizing strong security measures to protect your device and your account, but it is at your discretion as to what measures you take. So Liz and I would like to thank you for your time today. Are there any questions?
I think we were able to cover all the ones that had come through, so I think we are good to go there.
Fabulous.
But yeah, if anyone else wants to reach our tech support team, you can call 517-333-2424 or chat in, and they will be happy to assist you.
Mhm.
Cool.
And if you think of anything after this session is over, again, contact us. We'd be glad to help. And please also feel free to review these informative links. Therese is going to post them in the Zoom chat as well. They contain oodles of great information.
Yes. Yes, there is always an answer, I feel like, in our
Mhm.
FAQs and whatnot on the website. But it's just,
Absolutely.
yeah, remembering to go check those. And yes, I'm gonna restart my phone when we get off of this webinar.
I
I
do
was
it
like,
once a week.
I know, I'm like, I need to put a reminder on my calendar or something
That's
because
what I
yeah,
do.
sometimes I'm like, I can't remember the last time my phone was powered off.
Mhm.
So yes, definitely some good tips. So I want to just thank you again for your presentation this evening. It's been really informative. And once again, you can check this out on our YouTube channel. In a couple of weeks, we'll have this uploaded if you do want to rewatch or share with anybody. So I also want to remind you of some of our upcoming seminar series sessions before we go. So if you're in the greater Lansing area, we invite you to visit our Farm Lane branch next week for a seminar with the Truly You Investment Services team from MSUFCU. They're going to be talking about income for life. That's on Tuesday, October 8th. And then our next webinar will be with our newest fintech partner called Reset. It's a really great free service provided to our members. So definitely check that out to learn more there. And that will be on Thursday, October 10th. So we hope you guys can join us for that. When you exit the Zoom this evening, there will be a survey that pops up. So go ahead and fill that out so we can get your feedback on tonight's session and your input on, what you'd like to see in future seminar series events. And once again, to register for any events, you can visit msufcu.org/events. All right. Well, thank you both for being here, and thanks to the audience for being here tonight. We hope you learned a little tidbit of something that you didn't know before, but we'll definitely, our MTS team is always here to help you. So feel free to reach out to them if you do have any questions or run into any issues with our online platforms. They are always happy to take your calls. So once again, thanks everyone for being here. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.